You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. We're going to be joined in the next segment by Paul Joseph Watson from London, as well as by Lionel, the talk show host who comes out of New York. He also has a background in law, so we're going to talk to him about some of these grand jury indictments. Right now, I've got a caller who called in, an ex-cop from Maryland. As we were just talking before we had to go to break, you were saying that you're a black officer. You've seen a lot of black officers abusing people in the public, general public. And as I was reading this quote from Giuliani, that's essentially what he said. He said there was an African-American sergeant on the scene, and the entire time did not do anything to stop. So obviously he didn't have a problem with what was going on. I think it boils down to training. You were a cop back in the 80s. You said, don't you get a sense that they're being trained in a very different way than people were 30 years ago?
Yes, definitely, and the caliber of police officers have like devolved into something like really bizarre. But some of the things that I saw, some of the things that I heard were from other police officers. You're a new pair of shoes, speaking to the residents in a poor urban area where I work. Mm-hmm. They would tell the people, "Hey, you're just a new pair of shoes for my kids." Because what happens is that if you make an arrest, and hearing this is just made me irate, because I started college, left in my junior year, and then joined the police department, thinking that I was going to do like a greater good, because I think I'm a pretty good guy. But hearing this was just this is so bizarre. You're a new pair of shoes, so then if I arrest you, then I'm going to get an extra $40, $50, $60 back then to take care of my family. So what do you consider people just a source of revenue? And then I tried to stop it. I tried as a rookie cop coming straight out of the police academy. I tried to stop it in a naive way. Mm-hmm. And what I got?
What they do?
In the inner city, you're supposed to have backup.
Oh, like Supergo. Did they set you up?
Exactly. Yeah. You're supposed to have backup within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, Matt. Mm-hmm. What I found out, it was taking 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and these are some of the guys are like bad. I mean, you have 4 guys up on selling drugs, and a lot of them have Berettas and stuff on, and you call for backup, your backup doesn't come. So what do you do?
Yeah. Well, you're familiar with the Serpico story, right? You've seen the movie probably with Al Pacino?
Yes, sir.
And, of course, that was exactly the way they got rid of him. He didn't want to go along with the corruption. He didn't want to go on the take, so they perceived him as a big threat to them. In his day, the issue, he said, was really graft and corruption, although I believe it was still being driven by the same thing, and that's the war on drugs. It's driving both the graft and the corruption and the police force and government, as well as now, of course, that's the basis for these SWAT team raids. It's all the war on drugs, this shoot-first mentality. We've had it's been police rookies who have been, we've seen a couple of these incidents in just the last week or so. We had the case of the 12-year-old who was shot dead, and that was a rookie. The 12-year-old had a BB gun. Somebody called it in because this guy was playing around with a BB gun. I mean, I saw the pictures of him pointing the BB gun around. It reminded me of A Christmas Story, where Ralphie gets his BB gun. I did that kind of stuff when I was a kid. I had guns, toy guns, that I was shooting at imaginary villains with. I didn't expect and shouldn't have been shot dead by the cops. And in this particular case, there's video that exists. You see the cop car pull up and the rookie jumps out. And within 1 second, he shot that kid dead. And that kid wasn't pointing a gun at him, wasn't any threat to him, and it was a toy gun. Thank you so much for calling us. We're going to be right back. We're going to have Paul Joseph Watson, and we're going to have Lionel, the talk show host in New York, as well as a former lawyer. We're going to talk to him about what's going on. Stay with us.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
Aging starts at the cellular level. When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries. During that period, key patented compounds have focused on mitochondrial growth, nerve growth, and rejuvenation. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. We now have the synergistic solution, DNA Force, just one of the key compounds. BioPQQ is backed by major clinical studies and over 175 PubMed-listed published studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life. This December marks 20 years that I've been on the air. Kicking off on Cyber Monday and throughout the entire week, we're offering the biggest sales in the history of Infowars.com, celebrating my 20 years on air. And we do it by bringing our listeners the very best high-quality products. Free shipping store-wide on Pro Gun, Made in America t-shirts. High-quality water filtration systems. But not just free shipping. 30% off Super Male Vitality. 20% off all colloidal silver. Buy 4, get 1 free. With your purchase of 1 bottle of DNA Force, you get 2 free bottles of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine, absolutely free, a $60 value. We're also offering 50% off a year membership at PrisonPlanet.tv and upping the number of people that can use each membership to 20. 20 years on air, and InfoWars is celebrating it with the biggest sale we've ever had. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show on this live December 4th, 2014 edition. I'm David Knight, your host today. Joining us this hour, joining us right now, is Lionel. He's a Renaissance lawyer, news decoder, First Amendment sentry, and a New York-based television legal analyst. And so I want to see what he's seeing there on the ground and also talk to him about what's going on with grand juries. Kind of fill us in a little bit about how that works. Lionel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Now, you're based in New York. What have you been seeing? What have you seen over the last 24 hours there?
Well, reaction, and I've got to say, I'm absolutely thrilled that finally Americans are getting off of their collective duffs and reacting. For the most part, it was peaceful.
Good.
It might have been obstructionary or obstructional, whatever the particular adjective is, but very, very peaceful. The NYPD has been, I think, equally as accommodating. So there's a part of me, David, that says, great for the First Amendment, great that finally, instead of sitting home and, tweeting and favoriting or retweeting. Somebody's actually speaking out. Now, I'm not saying everybody necessarily is correct in what they're protesting. There's a lot that's going on here, but it doesn't really matter. The First Amendment rings true, and I'm very proud as an American to see that people are utilizing that right and peacefully.
That's good. And so you're not seeing the New York police essentially getting kind of provocative in the way they interact with the crowds like they did in Ferguson, kind of getting in their face, drawing a line, don't get here, stand over there. Now you can't stand over there. We've seen that happen so many times in so many different cities. We saw it happen in Dallas with the JFK commemoration. We saw it happen in Ferguson. That's not happening in New York?
No, I'm not. Well, it may be happening, but it's not being reported.
Okay, all right.
It's a city of 8 million people, a lot of areas, and so there very well may be, but from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, they have been most professional, as they normally are. I mean, let me just stop right there. You know, David, we always have to do this proviso. Not all police are bad.
Right.
They do a good job. Yes, we know that. We understand that. And we don't want to live, I don't want to live in a society without police. I'm not a full-blown anarchist or whatever. But you brought up something which is the most important. You know, David, in my humble opinion, I don't mean to interrupt, but just so that you know my point of view. The issue is not race. The issue is the hyper-militarization of the police, number one, which we have been talking, and I have been talking about for years. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, there's a systemic, if you will, attitudinal problem in some departments, in some cases, where the police are almost allowed to assume this very hyper-adversarial position. It's kind of an attitude. Let me ask you this question. Let's assume we had this time machine. We can go back and we can look at a situation that happened, and we take the Eric Garner case exactly as it happened, at the same site, same players. And through the magic of time travel, we could put in place of Eric Garner, instead of a 300-pound, rather large African-American male, let's say a slight African-American man who's 80 years old, and then a grandmother who's white, and a child, and a priest, and a man with a suit, a bunch of variables. Would we have had same degree of escalation in varying parties involved? Or would the police have said, no, this is a one-size-fits-all reaction. When you resist, this is how we react. And I would venture to say, no, you would not see the police act the same way. So the question is, why? Why would they not put a chokehold or carotid restraint or whatever on a grandmother? She's resisting, or a man in a business suit, or a priest. And I think we have to be honest. Yes, there is a reaction. Now, is that racist? I don't know. I think that word too patellar, too Pavlovian. Racism. Just because there's a disparity, just because of...
Well, you know, Lionel, I kind of think I would come up with a different answer. I kind of think they would, based on all the different shots that we've seen. I know that the statistics show that the predominance is against black people. We know that they're arrested at a higher rate for marijuana. They go to jail based on the crimes that come together. They are more likely to serve jail time if they're arrested for marijuana than white people are. So I understand there's a systemic bias against blacks. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely. But, you know, I've seen so many police brutality videos, just that video that just went viral. We had it up on our site earlier in the week. This is what happens when you call the police. I mean, I see people of all different colors see that happening to them. They've got mandatory drawing blood, even if you're not drinking. They don't even have to be suspicious that you're a drunk driver. They can just demand to draw your blood. I've seen pictures of people saying, "What is this? Is this America?"
Right.
And that's a white guy in that particular case.
A point well taken. You bring up an excellent point. And by the way, we need this so much, not only in media and radio, but just talking, not necessarily saying my hashtag, my selfie, image is better than yours or more pithier than yours. Let me go back to some other cases which I think are horrible and really speak to what you're saying. There was a horrible case that we saw of Kelly Thomas,
Yes,
2011,
yes.
Fullerton,
Good example.
California. Schizophrenic, homeless man, known by Fullerton County, these police officers, who was beaten to death.
Yes.
Not quickly, but it involved a series of blows and contact. Put him into a coma, and then life support was pulled. All right. Would that situation have been